Since the dawn of civilization, the concept of space travel has fascinated man. The ancient Egyptians built pyramids to be closer to their sun god Ra. The Chinese attempted to travel to distant galaxies by getting toasted on high-grade opium. And, of course, the Greeks experimented with the concepts of rocket propulsion and thrust by having sex with young boys. Our modern age of space exploration began in the year 1955 when President Dwight D. Eisenhower commissioned the first rocket to be built so as to shoot Julius and Ethel Rosenberg into the center of the sun. The project was stalled, however, when scientists were unable to develop a dehydrated gefilte fish that was both kosher and capable of interplanetary travel.
When a rocket went off, people would start to yell, "Missile! Missile!"
Communist copycats, the Soviet Union, joined the space race soon thereafter and actually surpassed the U.S. when they launched Sputnik into orbit on October 4th, 1957. This spy satellite was designed to fly over the U.S. and covertly take nude pictures of Marilyn Monroe. But all they were able to come up with were these pictures of Mr. Ed skinny dipping and compromising pictures of Rock Hudson and the Lollipop Guild.
My God, the older generation are so sexist.
Russia's Sputnik 2 was scheduled to be the first ever rocket manned by human hands, but when all their cosmonauts backed out because of a mysterious bout with parasitic capitalist crotch lice, several alternate candidates were selected, including Lenin's corpse, a stray dog, and this prize-winning potato from Leningrad. Ultimately, the dog, Comrade Rusty, was chosen, and he quickly learned to pilot his rocket via a guidance system attached to his genitals, which he licked at certain moments during orbit. The U.S. was not about to be left behind in sending dumb animals into space, however, and after careful consideration of sending little kittens, baby squirrels, and angry dwarfs into space were aborted, they finally decided to send up a team of spider monkeys. The goal of NASA's Mercury project, to discover if monkeys were still funny in zero gravity, was a rousing success. But while re-entering the Earth's atmosphere, their simian craft was bombarded with lethal doses of ultraviolet rays, gamma rays, and deadly Martha rays. Though treated for radiation poisoning, these space monkeys mutated horribly and later went on to star with Clint Eastwood in the cinema classic Any Which Way But Loose. Stay tuned next time for part 2 of Liebography, A Space Odyssey, when the decade opens with Space Odyssey. The race to the moon was now on, and the first manned mission was undertaken by Neil Armstrong, Michael Collins, and Buzz Aldrin, who earned the nickname Buzz because of his habit of meticulously shaving his pubic hair. And so it was that on July 20th, 1969, the Apollo 11 craft landed on the moon, and the nation watched in wonder as Armstrong erected the first American flag on its rocky surface. What many did not know, however, was that he then followed it up by burning the first cross on the moon, for unbeknownst to NASA, Armstrong was actually a grand wizard in the Ku Klux Klan.
That's one small step for a white man, one giant leap for the entire white race. Yee-haw! I declared this part of the moon for whites only.
This policy remained unchanged until just last year when the city of Chicago relocated the Cabrini Green housing project to the Sea of Tranquility, later dubbed the Dark Side of the Moon. This program virtually came to a halt during the 1970s after it was dealt a series of crippling blows. First, the Apollo 13 mission nearly ended in disaster when Commander James Lovell farted near the vessel's life support system following an ill-advised second helping of dehydrated burritos.
Houston, we have a problem.
In 1973, tricky Dick Nixon attempted to use a NASA rocket to leave the solar system so as to avoid a messy Watergate impeachment. The Apollo 15 lunar mission was also marred by tragedy when its command module landed on Sun Ra's intergalactic orchestra, crushing his entire cosmic timpani section. This last tragedy caused NASA to completely rethink its rocket design, and with sponsorship from the Toho Corporation, they unveiled a new, more streamlined craft called Mecha Godzilla. Not only was it faster and more aerodynamic, but it raked in millions from merchandising sales. Tragically, however, the Mecha Godzilla craft exploded shortly after takeoff in 1984. Undaunted, a smaller, more manageable version of the craft was designed called Mecha Godzuki, and in 1995 it made history when it docked with the Soviet Mir space station. On this momentous union of East meets West, the Soviets and Americans commemorated the occasion with a touching gesture, exchanging pornographic magazines.
Hey there, Ruskies. What kind of nudie mags you got?
Communist jugs, Stalin slut brigade, and Bolshevik whoopee call.
Well, all right. We'll trade you those for a 3-pack of chicks with dicks.
Pig talk. You've got a deal. And what's next for the space program? Well, despite all the grandiose plans for cities on the moon, the future of NASA seems mostly tied up with launching communications satellites for media conglomerates like Viacom and Sir Rupert Murdoch. So, over the next 50 years, we're less likely to learn the secrets of the universe than we are to be assured clearer reception of Full House reruns on your dish TV system. And you can expect to see a lot more advances in the field of breast implants than there will be for cancer research. On the off chance that we do begin settling the moon in the near future, one thing's for sure. There'll be a gap and a Starbucks there before you'll ever make it up. This is Liebography saying, keep your feet on the ground and keep reaching for the stars.